everyone, welcome to Elite Weather. Mr. G here, your meteorologist, as we got two storms to talk about, one on its way out and one coming in, moving across the southern U.S. And we're going to be taking a look at both of those storms now. But right now, let's jump into our first map, which is going to be our surface map and our radar. And this is what we're currently seeing out there as we have some snow across the northeast with our first storm that we're going to be looking at, and that is going to also be spreading some snow into parts of the Midwest, southern Michigan, into Indiana and Ohio, where we got winter weather and winter storm advisories in place right now. We can see as much as 6 inches across that region, and some areas in the northeast along the interior into Maine, where we could pick up to a foot of snow, as well into some of the higher elevations of Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York. But unfortunately, we won't be quite seeing those numbers down across the I-95 corridor. I guess that's a good thing with all the traffic and everything on those busy interstates in the big cities. We won't have to be worrying about that too much. But some of the western suburbs could pick up some wintry precipitation as well as some snow. So the western suburbs of Boston, New York City as well, and Philadelphia could pick up some snow. And maybe not even, we still won't see quite much cold air around the DC area. You guys are going to be seeing mostly rainfall, but just a little bit to the north there to Philly, New York, and Boston, where we could be seeing a little bit of snow into the western suburbs. But the downtowns, I think, might see a flake or two, but for the most part, they're going to be just rainfall with this going around. But let's take a look at those temperatures right now across America, and we're pretty seasonal for this time of the year. We do have a cold snap that's going to be heading down across the Central Plains and the upper Midwest, so we're going to be keeping an eye out for that, because as we head toward the end of the month of January and into the first few weeks of February, we could be seeing temperatures below zero across the northern tier of the country. So some very cold weather, and that also is going to be wind chill advisory, wind chill problems as well. So it's going to get very cold as we head get to the end of this week and into the next week. So be watching out for that. We're seeing those temperatures across the 30s in the northeast for the most part, and a couple of 40s, but mostly in the 30s. Our one spot is going to be down across the state of Florida, where we're looking at an 80-degree temperature in Miami right now, and 70s from Jacksonville and into Tampa. So we're seeing those mid-70s down the south. Then across southern Texas, we're seeing temperatures in the upper 60s, and in southern California as well, we're seeing those temperatures in the upper 60s. So let's take a look now at our tracking this weekend storm that's heading on out, and we're going to be seeing snow across the interior of upstate New York, as well as into Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania. Ohio and Indiana is going to pick up some snow as well. We can see 6 inches that way, but up to a foot in portions of the higher elevations of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, as well as the Adirondacks in New York, where we can see a higher snowfall total. So a decent snowfall for an area that's lacking in snow, with the exception of the Buffalo and Watertown, New York, where you had two significant lake effect snow events that have you guys in the 40 to 50 inch range above average. But for the most part, everyone else is about 8 to 15 inches below average, especially the Boston area, which leads the northeast as far as snowfall totals with the big cities. But this year they're about 14 inches below average. So again, we have a storm, and we're going to miss most of that snow across the northeast. You might pick up a little bit in the western suburbs, the far western suburbs of Boston and New York City. Philly as well might pick up a few snowflakes and some rain and snow mix across those areas. That's all I can really give you for snow today, guys. And here's our winter weather advisories. We do have winter weather advisories down to the south. There is one winter storm watch there around Cincinnati, where we could pick up about 6 inches of snow across that region. But if you go into Pennsylvania and New York, through western Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, where we're going to be seeing those 1 foot snow total potential in those regions. So now let's talk about that snowfall potential across the Midwest here through portions of Indiana, Ohio, and northern Kentucky. So we're going to finally get some snow across Kentucky because some folks have been asking about Kentucky and why they have had any snow. But you could get a little bit across the mountains down in the Appalachians. So again, be careful with that because you guys asked for snow, but you don't handle it very well. So I don't think it's a good idea for you. But I will have to say we had a lack of freezing rain this year. I usually call that the freezing rain corridor there. So I am pleased to announce that we haven't had too much in the way of freezing rain this year. But again, here is that look for that future track for about 11 o'clock or midnight tonight. We're going to be looking at that potential for snow across the interior of upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and western Massachusetts, as well as even western Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and into Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan as well, where we're going to be seeing that rainfall, but a snowfall. But along the coastal sections, mostly rain, and down to the south, again, mostly rain. Now let's take a look at that snowfall forecast. Most places are going to be seeing about 1 to 3 inches, but you can be seeing that 3 to 5 as well as 5 to 8, and a very few areas can pick up as much as 8 to 12 inches. So there is a slight risk for higher snowfall totals in some very high elevations out there like Mount Washington. Now let's take a look at that where our wet weather is going to be taking place down across the southeast there through Georgia and South Carolina, where we have that area of low pressure that's going to be bringing some rain showers and some thunderstorms across that way, and that potential for some flash flooding. So that's a look at what we're seeing there. And then there's our rainfall for this afternoon through Monday morning tomorrow, where we're going to be seeing about 1 to 2 inches of rain for the most part down there from western Florida near Tallahassee through Savannah, Georgia, Macon, as well as in Columbia, South Carolina, and Wilmington, North Carolina to near Raleigh, where you could pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain through your Monday morning. Now, let's take a look at where we could be seeing the potential for some severe thunderstorms down across the southeast. We do have a slight risk tonight for some severe weather. Not expecting tornadoes with this activity, but some damaging wind is going to be the primary threat, and maybe some small hail with any severe weather that does develop across this region. Now we have our second storm that we're going to be taking a look at that is going to go Monday from the southern portions of New Mexico and West Texas down here, and that guy is going to trek all the way to the northeast by the time we get to Friday morning, and it's going to be situated there off the coast of Maine. But it's going to be bringing some wintry weather across portions of Texas and Oklahoma and through the Midwest and through portions of the Appalachian Mountains as well. This is when we could see that potential for some freezing rain and icing. Even though we haven't seen much this year, this storm has that potential to do just that. Now let's take a look at what we're going to be seeing as we head into your day on Tuesday, where we could be seeing some thunderstorms down here across the south. That area of low pressure is going to be down here near Louisiana and Mississippi. So if you're in New Orleans, Shreveport, and Jackson, you have that potential for seeing some heavier rainfall and some severe weather as we head into your Tuesday. Again, this is where we're going to be seeing that potential and that likelihood for some severe weather on your Tuesday. And that severe weather threat will consist of mostly some damaging wind and some large hail. An isolated tornado is possible and some flash flooding. And we're going to be seeing that low pressure make its way into portions of the northeast as we head into your Thursday morning. That's going to be spreading rain along the coast again and snow over the interior like we've seen much with the last storm and the storm before that. So things are not going to change as far as that is concerned. My name is Mr. G. This is Elite Weather. Thanks for watching, and we have another storm to endure across the eastern half of the United States and the southeast with that severe weather, wintry weather across the northeast and the interior, but still more rain along the coast. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that kind of good stuff. Bye-bye. Get out of here.